Alright, folks, so I'm here to bring you my thoughts on The Ones Who Live Episode 4. I just want to say my reviews are non scripted. I am going off bullet points of things that I noticed while watching the show. So there may be some things I might have missed or didn't catch, so this is just my raw thoughts on what we saw from the episode. So this episode was like watching your parents fight for the entire run. And I will say I did absolutely love it. I had to watch it a second time to let it really sink in, but on the second watch, I wouldn't say it's my favorite episode. Episode 1, I think, is still my favorite, but I'd say it's a close second. One of the biggest standouts of this episode by far is the dialogue. I'm pretty sure the episode was written by Danai Gurira, and if I remember correctly, I think she's written like Broadway shows or something, but it really shows in the writing of the dialogue in this episode. It feels realistic, and gone are the days of Gimple speak, you know? I do gotta point out some things that I thought were weird or, just didn't sit right with me, and one of those things was the really advanced building they were in. I see what they were going for, but I think it was just a little too convenient that out in the middle of fucking nowhere, they just dropped in a lake and they come up on this perfectly good house, or building, sorry. And it has like Roombas going around, it's perfectly clean, it's got lights, it's got temperature heating, and everyone's been dead there for a long time. I don't know, I thought it was a little bit too convenient, but it didn't bother me too much. But what I find interesting about this episode is that Rick was really frustrating, actually. I thought in the last couple episodes I understood where he was coming from, but the things Michonne was saying was even, getting through to me. Like, this isn't his responsibility, and he doesn't owe anything to these people, and, maybe let's say he does stay, and he does move up the ranks. What are the odds he can actually change the CRM to help people and, keep his family safe? As far as we've seen from them, they're willing to kill, their own people, defectors, pretty much anyone. So Michonne's words really stick out to me in this episode. She acts as kind of the vessel for the audience. How long have we been saying, where's Rick? Just bring him home. Well, with the helicopter they were in crashed and appearing like they're dead, they have the chance now. But Rick still won't take it. He's so afraid of how large this group is and afraid of losing the people he loves that he's scared to even walk away when he has the perfect opportunity to. And it took Michonne looking him in the eye and saying, "You're hurting me, I'm only safe when I'm with you," to really snap him out of it. But I think it just really goes to show how much the last 10 years have affected Rick. And I noticed in their sex scene, which I gotta be honest, I never think those are necessary, but I do like the moment where he has like a little, at least I interpreted it as he had like a little bit of PTSD there, like a moment he was like, oh, he was back in wherever or whatever they did to him. And I noticed his back was all cut up, like all the way down. I don't remember where that would come from in the main series. I could just be forgetting. But I do like how they're able to naturally show how much Rick has been hurt and damaged by the CRM without explicitly saying what they did to him. This episode is extremely character focused, and at times, you barely even recognize both Michonne and Rick, and in the best way possible. We're seeing completely different sides of these characters, the most raw, emotional sides we possibly could. My first watch through of it, I was a little annoyed about the constant back and forth, but on my rewatch, I'm realizing that that is the point, how frustrating it is to try to, snap somebody out of something that's so clearly where they're not supposed to be. What's interesting is that Rick sees Okafor actually as his savior rather than his captor. With the rage he showed to him in episode 1, I didn't realize how much Rick really drank the Kool-Aid. But everything he's saying to Michonne about this is how he keeps her alive, she keeps calling out his bullshit, which I thought was absolutely awesome. She keeps saying, "You're lying," and I interpret that as like, he's afraid, rather than he believes in the CRM. But finally, Rick finds out about RJ. And I think it was pretty much perfect. I mean, I was expecting them more to go in a route of him being like, like, oh no, like in season 3 about like losing all this time, the childhood with his son. But they used it to try to reinforce Rick's position on what's going on. And I think for his frame of mind at the time, that does really work. And we see later on, he comes around and he just can't help it. He can't distance himself. He needs to know more about RJ. I don't know. I thought it was done really well. The whole episode is trying to get Rick to reach a decision, give in to what he wants and risk everyone back home's lives, or stay with the CRM and theoretically guarantee their safety, but be separated from them forever. I do like that we see the CRM come back to the helicopter crash site and, blow it all up. I think it gives value a little more to watching, like, Fear the Walking Dead and seeing how they have to exterminate people that find out about them. Before Rick even said, they get rid of all the evidence, that's exactly what I was thinking. And, it might be the obvious thing, but if you watch Fear, then you would know that as a fact before it's even revealed. I don't know, I just like the way they've been tying in the other spin-offs in ways that I wouldn't expect. Like in World Beyond, them destroying Omaha, you wouldn't know that in episode 1 when they reveal it fell. It just gives a little more value to watching the spin-offs before The Ones Who Live. So after the helicopter blows up the other helicopter, the building they're stationed in starts crumbling around them, and I didn't really watch the episode Insiders, so they might have explained it there, but I interpreted the building crashing around them as a metaphor for their relationship. The rockier things got, the more it would fall apart, but the tougher it got, the more they were willing to help each other. Like in the scene where the chandelier falls and traps Michonne, I gotta say, that scene was a little bit weird. The way they shot it, it looked like it was gonna fall on their heads, and then if it was trapping Michonne's leg, I feel like her leg should have been, like, really broken, but the scene after they're sprinting down the hallway, I was like, oh, guess she's fine. The Carl mention was absolutely beautiful, and at least to me, it did make sense of why he was so reluctant. He felt so trapped that even the faces of his loved ones were starting to fade. And the thought that Michonne is still alive, even if he didn't know, the thought that she could still be alive was enough to have him keep going. But knowing what the CRM's capable of, and now that she's, involved in the mix, his fear of losing her for real is just at the forefront. And my god, that scene with Andrew Lincoln, he's just breaking down completely. It's just like, give this man an award, please. And Denai Guerrero as well. Like, this is another side of Michonne. She's angry and annoyed just as we are, but, you do see both their sides, but as she's giving her perspective over time, it convinces you, it's like I said at the beginning, like, you understand why, Rick, you have a way out, they think you're dead, you can get away, even if they're flying over Alexandria looking for you, you can hide in a barrel or something, bro, but you can be with your family. And finally, after getting through to him, after, getting down to the root of the issue, Rick finally gives in, and the episode ends with Rick fucking Grimes coming home. Now, this scene got me extremely hyped, but let's be honest, I don't think he's getting home in this series. It feels too easy, and we see, and the promo for the next episode really kind of like harps on that. They're not back yet, they're in the woods. And now they're second guessing for whatever reason, whether this is the right choice or not. It's really hard to see where this is going, but we have 2 episodes left. The CRM is not falling in that time. And I don't think the CRM is even being reformed. No, the Civic Republic is going to be an ongoing plotline for the overall universe. This will be their endgame. This will be the big bad that brings all of them together. It's just not knowing where our characters are going to play the part of bringing it down eventually, but it's not happening here. I gotta be honest, I don't know where the show is going. I don't know how it's going to end. I don't know what it's setting up. I don't know if there's even going to be a season 2. But I am absolutely all along for the ride. Everything they've given me so far, I'm absolutely loving it. Except, there's a couple things about episode 2 I wasn't crazy about. But this one, it's just really bringing what I was looking for, Really intimate character writing. The previous episodes had action, they have adventure, they have lore drops. It's got pretty much everything I would want. But there is one thing still driving me absolutely crazy. Why are they underutilizing Terry O'Quinn? Seriously, to not even have a cutaway scene of Beale, he can just be staring into the camera. Some of the soldiers could be like, Sir Grimes, we found the helicopter. Him giving the order, like, get rid of it, like something like that. What? How can you have Terry O'Quinn in The Walking Dead and only have like 4 scenes with him over the course of 4 episodes? It's driving me nuts. One more thing I want to mention, there's a mysterious character in the episode 5 promo. We just see the silhouette of like robes or whatever it was. I watched it last night, but I've seen a few people mentioning that they think it could be Morgan. And usually I think these like kind of theories are a little bit ridiculous, but they did set Morgan up to be going after Rick at Fear season 8A finale. Jeez, I've only watched it one time. It's been a while. But yeah, they set Morgan to be going on Rick's trail. He was like, man, I'm if this message is for Rick Grimes, I'm coming for you. I was like, oh shit. So I guess we'll just have to see. I mean, I did hear some of the showrunners say they'd be like surprise characters from The Walking Dead or something returning, something along those lines. I figured that was Jadis, but now I'm realizing they showed her in the trailers, so who knows, maybe it is Morgan. So yeah, I'm gonna give this episode a 9.5 out of 10. Some things are a little convenient, some things kind of don't make sense, but they're small and for the most part pretty nitpicky. But any issues I really have completely make up for it in the dialogue and character work of Rick and Michonne. It's just their relationship is so intriguing, they've brought a new dynamic to it, and I think it just works so well. Yeah, but those are my thoughts for episode 4 of The Ones Who Live. Let me know what you thought about the episode in the comments down below. I've been absolutely loving this series. I've been doing some polls, and you guys seem to be loving it as well. So if you want me to keep on going with these reviews, be sure to hit that like button, and drop a sub if you're feeling generous. Thanks for watching.